Hi everybody, I'm Doreen Molloy. I thank you all for coming today. This is the Mediumship Workshop. Quick question for everybody here. How many people in the room, just kind of with a show of hands, how many of you guys have had some sort of experience where you sensed energies in another dimension, or you sensed someone that's in the afterlife? How many of you have had that happen? Pretty much everybody in the room, okay. Of those of you who raised your hand, which is pretty much everyone, how many of you really got either a specific message, or maybe you were able to tell who it was that might have been coming through? So you're not sure. You're not sure. Okay. But some of you are. It's really interesting. We're going to get into that in a little bit of depth in this workshop. But it doesn't matter why you're here. You're going to get something great from this workshop. It really is for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're looking to develop as a professional medium and you want to do, readings professionally, or some people are here because they've had a major loss in life, and this is what stimulates them to really want to feel connected and just have more information about who it is that might be coming through on the other side, and to also feel connected to our own loved ones, okay? Sometimes people are here because they just want to develop and they're very metaphysically oriented and they want to just gather a little bit more information and have a greater understanding. So it doesn't really matter the reason. You're going to get something out of this today, I promise you. It's going to be really interesting. One of my goals today is for you to leave here with a whole new perspective on what mediumship is, okay? So let me share with you a little bit about what we're going to be covering today. First of all, some of you might have some experience with regard to mediumship through the spiritualist movement, okay? Anybody here ever go to a spiritualist church or study with, people who are in the spiritualist church or ministers in the spiritualist church? They do have classes, they do teach. The problem with that, as it is in most areas, they combine mediumship with religion. We're not going to do that today. Today, what I want to teach you is the connection between science and spirituality, because there really is a very scientific basis for what happens and what takes place in creating a link and communication with the other side, okay? I'm going to be going over with you also some of the methods and some of the tools that we're actually going to be using to do that. There really are quite a few. So we'll go through that. Some of you may have noticed, just looking around the room, there is a talking board over there. So, we'll go through a whole bunch of things that, are used in spirit communication. I'd also like to cover the distinctions in terminology, definitions. I always find it amazing how many people don't know the difference between things. A lot of people don't know the difference between a psychic and a medium. Sometimes people are not sure what's mediumship and what's channeling. They don't understand which is which. So we'll go over that today. I want to make sure that all of you are clear about the distinctions in all those different things, and there are quite a few of those as well. We're also going to take a look at two charts today. These are 5-minute exercises on symbolism. Symbolism is critical to doing mediumship. You really have to get a good understanding of your own symbolism. And by the way, everybody's different. What is a meaning for me with something symbolic may be totally different to you and totally different to you. So we have to kind of get in touch with what our own symbolism is. Another thing I'd like to teach you about today, and this is kind of critical, I'm going to show you 3 scenarios where you may encounter during the course of your life. Doesn't matter if you're talking about mediumship, talking about this stuff, or actually demonstrating it, okay? You may encounter some difficult situations or difficult people. I know because it's happened to me several times. And it's one of the reasons why I want to share the information with you. Not only am I going to share with you what may happen, I'm also going to teach you how to handle it, okay? And as we get into that section, you'll understand what some of those responses might be that you would get from others. And they can be very challenging, and I'll share with you what my experience was with that. We're going to learn how to create a link with the other side today. The key to this is really about asking the right questions. Questions trigger answers, always. The trick is, how do you do that in a way that's effective for you to get information from another dimension, okay? The thing to do is to keep your questions short and to keep them very, very specific. I'm going to show you what those are. We'll go over them today, and you're actually going to use those questions and that exercise to help you in a demonstration experience, okay? So I'll take you through that as well. I'll also reveal the key, which unlocks the door to interpretation and delivery. Did all of you see that on my website? Everybody see that? A little bit intrigued about that? Okay. You know why it's such a big mystery for me, and I have it on the website that way? That's when I turned the corner. When I share with you what that is, that key, that's when I turned the corner, and that's when everything for me fell into place, and I was able to actually do this, okay? And get right information, get information that people would find accurate and could actually validate for me. So I'm going to share that with you. Not only am I going to give you the information, I'm actually going to role play it, okay? And I'm going to show you how it actually works. I wish I would have had that for me when I was doing this. I'm also going to take you through a 10-minute guided meditation. Now, I talk about meditation in all my workshops, even in the psychic workshop. Meditation is really essential to doing any kind of work spiritually. It really helps psychically, okay? And just for the record, so you guys know, because sometimes there's a little bit of question about this with spiritual mediums that you may have spoken with before. All mediums are psychic. Some mediums just choose to do spiritual sessions, and they choose not to work in the psychic fields, okay? But all mediums are psychic. Not all psychics are mediums. There is a difference in the information that comes through, okay? But I'm going to take you through that meditation. In this case, I'm going to guide you through the meditation, though, specifically for creating a link with the other side. I'm going to show you how to achieve that, okay? So we'll do that a little bit later. And then finally, we'll do some mediumship demonstrations. Now, I'm not going to throw you to the wolves. You're going to come up here right where I am, and I'm going to actually walk you through that. Now, let me tell you, we've had some wow moments when that happens. Because most people that get up here say, well, I've never done this before. This feels a little bit scary, you know. But some people do, most people do okay. And they will usually get very valid information. And sometimes we get people that come up here that have incredible moments. So be prepared for that, okay? It can really be pretty astounding when we do that. We will take a little 5-minute break midway through the afternoon. And then we will be closing the workshop with another 5 to 6 minute meditation, because I want to make sure I send you guys home feeling really, really, really good. So we'll do that later. I also have some printed material to hand out to you at the end of the session today. Finally, when we do that last meditation, again, you're going to feel real good. I'm handing out the material to you because I want you guys to be with me instead of, you know, everybody's reading something, okay? We'll take your questions as we're going through the workshop, so don't be afraid to speak up and ask anything that you're not sure of, anything that you don't understand. You guys ready to go? Cool.